Hello there. Today is Wednesday, and I am starting a brand new tradition, or I'm not even sure what the right word is going to be for this yet, but feature thing that I commit to doing. And we're going to call it Right On Wednesdays. And I do not take all that much credit for that phrase. I get it from my own writing mentor, who encourages me with that every time I tell her what I have created in a week or what I have struggled with, or just when she knows I need to hear it. So right on Wednesdays. What's happening here is I just got off a call with my beloved writers in the Sovereign Writers Circle. And I know how jazzed up I am every time I have a conversation with them. I know that I am filled up. I know that my mind is expanded, that my heart is expanded, that I start seeing so much potential every time I sit down with these writers and I hear what they've worked on. I hear how they support one another. I hear that these writers are dedicated healers, not only of the people they serve, because just about everybody is what I call a transformation professional. They're therapists, they're coaches, they are energy healers, they are body workers. They are people who are always in some way in service to others, that their work, hey Sarah, nice to have you. Their work is committed to making the world more beautiful, bearable, and bold. So they're in this work of healing themselves, and it's healing others, and they're in this work of healing themselves. And that's why they do writing practice. That's why they make time to write every Wednesday. And it's because when they know they heal themselves and get to know their own stories, they're better able to show up for the people that they're here to work with. They are just able to stand stronger in their own narratives and being able to make meaning from what it is that's come up for them, their own past, their own memories, their own troubles and struggles and traumas. The more clear they are on their own healing, the better they are able to support others. And that's both in the work they do and in the stories that they tell, right? That the members of this group are creating blog posts and books and everything in between that are going to illuminate the way for other people. So right on Wednesdays. This is going to be a new series that I offer to you when I am inspired by these phenomenal people that I get to sit with every Wednesday. And so today, astrology, neuroscience, and a side of writing prompts. So we always have writing prompts, right? When the Sovereign Writer Circle gets together to write on Wednesdays, I always offer up a couple of writing prompts. And today, because it is not only the spring equinox and a time when light and darkness are equal, when we are moving towards the light here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is also a day with a supermoon. We have a full moon today it's at the 0 position in Libra, which I only sort of pretend to understand, but essentially it's that understanding that like when you're at 0, everything is possible. Think about, if you know the tarot at all, think about the 0 card as the Fool, the one who's about to go on the journey where everything is unwritten. And so think of how powerful that is for us right now. Beginning of a new season, the season of growth, the season when we see the light returning, when it's starting to win here in the sky in the Northern Hemisphere. At the same time that we've got this spectacular moon, the worm moon, by the way. So think about the robins out in the yard or in the park who are pulling up the worms. Like this is their moon, this is their time. This is when the birds are returning and they're recognizing, look, there's a harvest right here for us. Everybody wake up, come see, right? So that was the energy that we were writing into today. That was my first prompt for them, was how to work with this energy, how to think about what's going on in the sky, and whether you know a damn thing about astrology or not. And not all of our members do. Some of us are pretty well versed in also talking about retrograde. Mercury retrograde is going on right now, and that's that moment when it appears that Mercury is moving backward in the sky, and this planet that rules communication and movement. You know, it's Geminis are ruled by Mercury, just like yours truly. It's a time when travel seems to be so much more complicated. It's a time when we are so much more likely to misunderstand people. I actually wrote about this at length just yesterday. I published a piece on my blog about the mistakes in entrepreneurship that get revealed during Mercury retrograde. I'd love you to check out that post. I'll link it to this video because it gives you a little more into Mercury retrograde. It also gives kind of a personal story and professional story about what this retrograde has taught me, because it's also a time to look back and review the choices that you've made, whether it's over the last season or whether it's over years and decades. It's a chance for us to pause that perpetual forward motion and instead begin to tune in to what could I have learned from this? What lessons did I miss? So this was the stuff that we got into today. This is the stuff that people were invited to write into during their own time to practice. We write for about 40 minutes and talk for the rest of our time together. And the reason why I put the subject of this particular video of Write On Wednesdays is astrology and neuroscience. Is that one of our beloved members just isn't in this world with us yet. She's curious about the woo, but it's not her space. And yet she's comfortable with all of us because there's real love and connection in our group. But, she's a trained neuroscientist. And, I'm a trained word witch. And sometimes we speak different languages. And that in and of itself is immensely powerful for any human beings who are trying to move within a diversity of viewpoints and perspectives and backgrounds, but especially in a writing group where we get a chance to educate one another, to push one another a little bit, to tell different narratives when we're looking to potentially heal some of the same problems. How could we find different stories that could reach people from different angles depending on that patch of earth on which they stand right now? I don't claim to know much of anything at all about neuroscience, but I know I'm blessed that I get to hang out with people who do know. I learn from them all the time. So I want to leave you in today's Write On Wednesday with your own sort of prompt. I'll give you a kind of a quick variation on the prompts that I offered today to our group of writers. And that is to find yourself in the midst of this equinox full moon energy. And whether you know a thing about astrology or whether you're somebody who plays in the world of neuroscience or something in the vast spectrum in between, just look up for a moment today. Maybe you'll notice something different. Whether you look up in the midday sky and you feel like it's a little brighter, or whether or not you're outside tonight under that full moon, and whether it's in your heart or we full-throated giving it a howl. Notice that today and ask it to help you tell your story. Beginnings, fullness, equinox, full moon. Ask that to help you illuminate your story. And I would love to hear what happens and comes through for you. In the writing group, we don't necessarily read out all of our stuff. We definitely don't do critiques. What we do is talk more about the experience of what it was to write into that, what we found, what we're curious about, what's coming next. That in-depth kind of help you might need, that's where I come in as the writing coach and we do one-on-one work together. But right into new beginnings of the equinox, fullness of the full moon, where you find yourself when you look up at the sky. Tell me what that's like. You know where to find me. I'm all over social media as Marisa Goudy, and I would love to help support you to write on Wednesdays and any day you need it. You can learn more about the Sovereign Writers Circle at my website. Again, I'll include that link with addition to my latest blog post. It talks about Mercury Retrograde, marisagoudy.com, and just search for the Sovereign Writers Circle and you'll find it. So blessings to you. Write on. I'll see you next week. Mwah.